I'd like to say good evening to everyone. My name is Reverend Dr. Floyd Jr. I am the assistant pastor of New Light Church of God, also the international president of National Network in Action. Glad to have you with us here today on a very serious case that's been going on for quite a number of years. I have my colleague here, Brother Charles Taylor, who's a good man. Man that I have known to grow and to learn and to love as a brother. And he has a story to be told that we have taken time out on this Sunday evening after church to tell the world what is going on. How you doing, Brother Jay? How you doing?
Thank you, Dr. Goodman. Thank you for having me.
Good. Welcome to New Light Church of God. You know that we have a ministry here that stands for justice, stands for equality, stands for freedom. And it's my understanding that you have been going through a horrible situation with one of your children. Every time I hear the story, it's like a movie. I mean, you know, it's like, could this really happen to an individual in this day and time, 2014? But the answer is yes, it has happened.
It's surreal. It has happened. That's a fact.
And before we go into it, how long have you been dealing with this situation?
14 years have gone by that I have not seen my daughter at the age of 3. And the only reason why I have not seen her after going through a countless level of jurisdiction courts, even into the European Human Rights Courts, I have not been able to even receive her medical records or school records, which I have been given in 1998 was when the domestic dispute, when I was giving my parental rights. They have been stolen from me. I have not seen my daughter, and the only reason is why is because the hostile mother refuses to allow me to see her.
Okay. And we're going to give Mr. Taylor an opportunity to tell his story. We want to get this information out across the world. Looking forward to going to Finland one day to expose what is happening to our brother here. He's a father. He has due right to his children. He has due right. He birthed that young daughter, and he has rights to her. And so it's not right when one person can deny another human being who helped to make and help to bring this lady, creator in this world. And so I'm going to go ahead and read something here, kind of like an introduction here to give the meat and the potatoes and what we're going to be talking about today. And Brother Taylor's going to, when I finish, he's going to take the ball and run with it. And just tune in, sit down, grab a soda pop, grab something to eat, some popcorn or something, and really listen in detail what is really happening to our brother here and to his daughter. And it's my understanding that you have 2 sons also.
Yes, they're all in Europe, and they have also not seen their sister in 14 years.
Okay. And so we're just going to jump right into this right now, and do this heavy lifting right now. And so it says this is a description of the case of Charles Taylor, U.S. citizen who in 2003 was sentenced to prison in Finland. It summarized the many unethical and even witch hunt-like aspects of his treatment among a child psychologist and representative of the law in Finland. Charles' case has gone through all 3 levels of the Finnish judicial system. First, the district court dropped all charges. Listen to this. First, a district court dropped all charges against him, pronouncing him not guilty. Later, the appeal court reversed the verdict, pronouncing him guilty and sentencing him to 3 years, 6 months in prison. In addition, inflicting heavy fines on him. Finally, the Supreme Court refused to re-examine his case despite the opposite verdict of the 2 courts and the fact that only the defense had new evidence to present at the appeal court. In September of 2004, Charles Floyd lodged an appeal to the European Court of Human Rights. In July 2009, the Human Rights Court ruled in favor of him, noting that he had not received a fair trial. And in November 2009, the Grand Chamber of the HRC decided not to accept Finnish government requests to refer the case to the Grand Chamber, thereby making the court's July decision final. Last but not least, in December 2010, Finland Supreme Court revoked the appeal court verdict but returned the case for reevaluation to the appeal court. However, in 2011, the new district prosecutor withdrew the complaint to the appeal court, which meant that the Republic of Finland accepted the district court verdict, in which all charges against Mr. Charles Taylor was dropped. Brother Taylor, this is a very serious situation here that I've read. When we talk about how the court system is supposed to be fair, we talk about the court system supposed to be just, we talk about the court system supposed to give equality, but from what I'm reading here and over the years of you discussing this with me, I have not seen fair treatment. I have not seen equality. I have not seen justice. All I've seen is a man who loves his daughter, should have access to his daughter, and has been messed over. His rights have been violated. Her rights have been violated. The human rights have been violated. The civil rights have been violated. Tell the world, how does this make you feel, and where are we going with this?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank God for this opportunity to be here. To all of you out there, please listen very closely, because I assure you that I'm going to succeed in doing one thing that I came to do here, and I may succeed in the second thing. The first thing I'm going to leave from here, all of you all out there, with the truth. But the amazing thing about it all, it's going to sound like to some a joke. It's going to sound like to some, this is just a song. It's going to sound like to some, maybe this was just a prayer, or maybe this was just a dream, but the facts remain a reality. Imagine the basic fundamental of life: father, mother, child, family. Every human being understands this. It is in their DNA that a parent do not harm their child. The most precious thing that Almighty God has given us is free, and that's our children. So I want you all to beam in on parents, one good and one bad. My plight was so easily to solve for anyone of age 7. Get a group of kindergarten children and ask them. We have parents here. One is telling the child, you have to hate the father. You cannot see your other siblings. You have to be all about what I tell you. You have no father. Jesus is your father. You have no father. He did something bad to you. Something that you would never, ever, ever imagine. A little toddler under 3.
9.
That is how bizarre this is, that they would be able to understand which of these parents is bad and which of them is good. My life parents have taught me to do the right thing. It is absolutely part of my culture, part of my makeup, part of my character, part of my spirit. I want everyone out there to try to imagine your brother, your sister, or your mother, or your next door neighbor, because we're dealing with a family here. You can call them whatever you want. You can put in, when I say something, you can put the blank to fill it in. But I'm talking about a family of 3 at this time. One parent was determined to defect the father out of the life, have him dejected, and she succeeded. She succeeded with the plot that it would have to be out of somewhere, out of Hollywood, some cartoons. How can you imagine that people in such high position could not see through this here rotten apple? It's beyond your imagination. Let me give you a little tip on what's going on. This woman convinced and possibilized that 5 adults, another teenager, and a young boy sexually abused a toddler under 3. But when the facts come out of the case, you look at it, only the father is being charged on this here. Now, these are these impossible lies that people would believe. Number one, these are impossible lies. Number two, we're talking about people that have been educated, people who have sworn the law, people who have sworn an oath to uphold the law. We're talking about a complete system, the Supreme Court. None of them would stand up against this hostile parent and give this man his right to enjoy himself with his child, to give her his love and affection. That's what he was always crying out to in the very beginning. In 1998, over the disgusting dispute of the parent, how we were going to raise our child, I was giving my rights to have her every second weekend, so forth, giving my parental rights, and all of it has been taken away from me. We did not deserve it. Out of all this time, 14 years, none of those officials ever thought about the imminent, long-term, serious effect, dangerous harm that this would do to the child for 14 years. And even after the country would not see this, it took 6 judges in the European Human Rights Court to tell them, hello, you all have violated this man's human rights. What's wrong with you all? Going back to the Supreme Court, now they have to bow down to the judge. Think of this as Snow White and the dark-skinned man, because in one of the write-ups the psychiatrist put in there, this is a case of a dark man, he did these things to his daughter. These are things that these leaders are not only, they're not only just fearless, they're dangerous. And they are to be brought about before the world to see that these are kind of the leaders that are ruling over the country of Finland. We are here today. The National Network of Nations are proclaiming to the world that the country of Finland should be known forever and ever as a racist country. And I have all the proof to prove it. After all of what I've gone through, here, I have a letter here. We had to go to court again just to have my daughter's medical records and school records. What human being would have to do this? I have already proven not only my innocence, but I even showed them what was causing this. It's something called POTS, Parent Alienated Syndrome. When you get a group of people professionally, we got them a name, Auricalo, dodos, professional fools. Why anyone would allow this woman, after it was proven that she was a victim of POTS, seriously, she had been brainwashed and damaged, and none of them stood up to protect her. But on the other hand, they were so determined forcefully. After 35 years, my parents taught me to choose right and live. You do not go around choosing. You can't serve one master. And if they are the children of the dark, they serve the devil of Lucifer. I've been crying out for love, and all of you all people that are on this human world that understand what I've been going through for 14 years. I have not seen my daughter. I don't know what she looked like. I imagine. And I go to bed crying. I wake up crying. Every day I'm worried about our health and welfare. And one rotten apple stood in the way all this time because the Finnish government yielded down and followed everything she said. We had to go to court in 2013 for me to have her medical records and her school records again. This is not acceptable. This is unconscionable. In a civilized society, you do not reward the guilty. You reward the innocent. And all this time, they have set a safe haven around the Snow White and said, no one can touch her. She is beyond your imagination. They need to delete this right now, for I informed them from the beginning. This mother conspiracy set this thing up, and all of them. She dubbed that stew together, and they took it and they believed it. These are people that are dangerous and fearless, and may be brought to justice for a crime against humanity. Because right now, not one of them can come and say what I've done wrong. Nothing. But they still deny me the rights. They are beyond the history of time, and history will remember them as a nation. They will be remembered in their latter days of their legend that they put upon this earth was to allow this woman to come into their lives. And here we are today. The dark-skinned man is saying, please help me. Help me to get my daughter's medical records. Help me to get my daughter's school record. How are you going to deny a man that have took you all before the human rights courts and still? This is what you call retaliation. This is definitely discrimination. This is definitely beyond a shadow of doubt. And the highest form of racism against the dark-skinned man. And I want the world and everyone all over the world to help me. Let it be known that the country is feeling it beyond a shadow of doubt. When it was asked, back in 1998, when the mother tried to affect me or get me out of the daughter's life, she didn't want me to have her daughter's medical record, school record. 1998, she tried that. In 2013, she gets it, and the judge said, I am denied it. Why? Because it can harm my daughter. What a joke! After the mother and them collectively cooperated and set this plot up, and the dark-skinned man unveiled it, and now revealing to the world that these people that are taking a little child and damage her mind, we need professional people to come in to deprogram her. You give the child to the one that's innocent, to the good father. Let's take a psychological test. Which is the bad parent? Which is the good parent? Who had the power to stop it? Who had the power to come in and free this little child? Only I can say to all those who are God's soldiers, join in and let this be known before the world. This is not acceptable in a civilized nation. Feeling is behind time. I don't know, back into the days before Jesus. This is not allowed. You don't reward the person. She gets all the things that a parent gets supposed to have, a school records, a medical records, all the childhood that she had taken away from her other children's, their bond, and broken it. Finland must pay. All of those that have been involved and knew this and did nothing about it, they must pay damage to the father and to the child. And let it be known that they're all over the world. We're going to free her. We're going to let the spirit, because the movement has already started. You know, this little child of God, we're going to let it shine. This little child of God, we're going to let it shine all over the world. The New Light has brought it all out there to you all. Take a vote, write it down. Which is the good parent, which is the bad parent? Let Finland know you have been now put under the light of the new light. You can no longer walk in darkness. How many other innocent fathers have been put in this situation because they didn't have the courage, because they didn't understand that one day even the dark country Finland can be able to see the light. Thank you.
You know, Brother Charles, would like to thank you for all that information. And, you know, one thing that people know about me, folks either like me or hate me. And so this is a situation here that is on an international level. We have been on a radio show. We have been on my radio show to talk about it. We have sent the show over to Finland. We're going to be creating a Facebook for this movement and also a website for the situation so that people can always revisit and go back and read whatever information and content that you want to put up there to seek justice for your daughter and family. You know, I tell people a lot of times, you know, if you've never been in that shoe, you don't know what it feels like. To talk about it is one thing, but to wear the shoe is a whole different feeling. And so I think that right now, as our brother, as he stated to you, he goes to bed with tears, he wakes up with tears. And he has a right to do that. And so we're going to do all we can from the USA, through the political system, through the activism system, through the civil rights system, to make sure that justice is served to our brother here. He has let the world know. He could have walked away from this. You know, he could have said, well, you know what? Whatever, you know, I'm just going to walk away, I'm not going to say nothing. But no, he didn't do that. He's fighting, he's standing. It's just like the civil rights movement in America in 1960. You know, for black people, wasn't long ago that we didn't have the right to vote. But it took black people to sacrifice, to march, to sit in, to get bit by dogs, to be shot down by police, to be lynched, to be murdered. Black women to be beat on. By state troopers or billy clubs, and the story goes on and on and on. But what I can say with all of that is that they all stood. Somebody had to pay, somebody had to bleed, somebody had to sacrifice. And so this is where we are today with this situation here. It's to be exposed And Dr. King said one thing. He said, when there's an injustice to God's people, you first, number one, you identify the injustice. Two, you negotiate the injustice. And if the negotiations do not work, then you have to take it to the streets. And so I believe now that's where our brother is. He is educating us. He has identified the injustice, number one. Number two, he tried to negotiate the injustice, and now he's on step 3. And that's to expose it, and that's to take it to the street. My brother, I just want to let you know that you have our full support here at New Life Church of God. We also have our civil rights organization, National Network in Action, support. Those who are supported all across the world. Philly, watch out. Reverend Harris is on his way over there.
May I just say, Reverend,
yes, sir.
Before we close, the case itself, anyone out there, you can read, I have put it on their website. We're going to also reveal the name of those High Supreme Judge and all of them. But anyway, you can find the case. It's called D versus Finland. The application number, the judgment of 6-1, they ruled in my favor. And you will also find that the Grand Chamber, the Finnish government, even after the European Human Rights Court, they wanted to continue to inflict more and more damage, more and more harm on me and my daughter, that they did not even look at the case. And think, all of this started with one rotten apple, and look where we are today. This is unacceptable. I've not done one thing wrong. And to allow them to continuously to brainwash the child where she thinks that she's been involved in incest, you can't even think. Only a demon, this is a bad seed. You can't bring these things into a child's life. They must pay it. They must pay what they have done to, because it could have been your child. Look how they brainwashed her into all these years. The mother said, if I ever leave her, she's going to teach the child to hate the father. She takes credit because she has succeeded.
Thank you, my brother. And again, as we depart here, we just want you to know that you have our support and that we'll do all we can to seek justice for you and your family and your sons and everyone. Finland has to understand right now, injustice to one is injustice to all. They may not know the American oppression, but they're going to know when Reverend Harris stepped in Finland, that we know we're going to get justice.
And like one man God had to stand up against these leaders that are fearless, and they are not only fearless, you understand, but they have become so mighty high where they thought no one, they're above the law, they make the law, and no one can touch them. But we're going to show, the world is going to show them that there's the mighty hand of God, and when he slapped you, you would feel the slap, and you're going to be slapped hard. I ask all of you all, if you want to get a copy of, go onto the website. Reverend Harris will give you the information where you can find the story itself, the case itself. Jump in if you would like to help. I beg you and help. It would help me just to let me know that I am still living among decent human beings that believe that every man deserves the right to enjoy his children. They have come over and they have taken my child away from me. They don't know that in the Bible, do not trespass over a man's home, over a man's house, over his man's children. Anything that is thy neighbor.
Please visit my Facebook. That's Floyd E. Harris Jr. Floyd Harris Jr. That's my Facebook. A lot of this information will be posted on there. Also, if you need to reach me, call me at 559-790-4277. 559-790-4277. If you need to email me about this case and you want to get involved and find out more information, email me at xyfloyd@aol.com. xyfloyd@aol.com. Also, go to our Facebook, National Network in Action. This information will be posted up there also. Or Google my name, Reverend Dr. Floyd D. Harris Jr. to see what comes up. We have radio shows all over the week. We have 29 radio hosts all over the world. Every day we have a show. And is there a phone number that someone can reach you or contact information or email?
Me, Emilia, E-M-I-L-I-A. E-M-I-L-I-A, Emilia 103. That's me, CT.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.